Hey, we're back, I guess. So since we're back for about 90 days, let's go over a quick little controversy that I noticed while flipping through my For You page before the ban. So I was flipping through my For You page and I found this post and I thought it looked beautiful. It was such a great looking Eutyrannus and Sinosauropteryx. But this person here said that they needed to credit Gabriel Ugueto for his Sinosauropteryx art, which I said, well, was there another post that they did that they didn't credit him in? And they say, no, it's this one. The pose and coloring is a direct ripoff of Gabriel's work. And I said, well, looking at all of his work from this species, the pattern on the tail is different, the pose is using a different leg, the hands are in a different position, and it's looking backwards. So here's a more close-up picture of the Sinosauropteryx. So as you can tell, the head is flipped back this way to look at the Eutyrannus. One hand closest to us is pretty much all the way down, and then the right hand is kind of curled up a little bit. And if you look at the leg here, this leg is closest to us and it's forward. This leg is further away from us and it's backwards. And then the stripes are all one solid stripe. None of it is like not a solid ring. They're all solid rings on the tail here. I guess one thing that is relatively similar with this piece is the pattern on the eye. The eye is roughly the same, but again, it's very different compared to Gabriel Ugueto. So let's look at his work to compare. So here's Gabriel's work. You can see that this is his little watermark that he likes to put on it. So using this pose, it doesn't look similar really at all. I mean, if we move over here, as you can tell, the mask even looks a little different. The hands are in a different position. The legs are in a different position. And like I said earlier, even the stripes are kind of trying to turn into more rings over here, but they don't quite make it. Whereas the rest of them end up becoming a full, a ring around the tail. And here's the first image I ever saw of Gabriel Ugueto's Sinosauropteryx. As you can tell, each ring is full, but the pose is completely different, and even the mask is slightly different. It goes around the jaw here, where on the other image, it doesn't go around the jaw like it does in Gabriel's picture. So then we have this pose, which is relatively similar, but again, it's using a different leg. The leg closest to us is pointed backward, whereas in the other one, it's pointed forward. Then again, the stripes that we have here don't fully go into a full ring. They don't go into a full stripe at the base of the tail again. Then if we go to the mask again wraps around the jaw, whereas in the TikToker's post, it doesn't. Then I was thinking, well, maybe it was a different pose that he drew in something like this. No, all of these are different poses compared to the one that we just saw. And all of those were from 2020. This is his latest work from 2024, and it's still in a different pose, flipped the other way. It's got its head pointed backwards, yes, but again, the mask is wrapping around the jaw. You can't really see it, but the striping here on the tail still doesn't make it all the way around like it does in the other post. And it's again, just a completely different pose. So in reality, this is a pretty unique piece. It doesn't look exactly like Gabriel Ugueto's piece because it's not close. Like, it's very unique to this person that is, added down below. This person also mentioned that the color was the exact same thing as Gabriel Ugueto, and apparently that counts as a ripoff too. But it doesn't, because this is what color Sinosauropteryx was. If we go to this article by BBC's Science magazine, it'll tell you exactly what's going on here. So this paragraph right here talks about the fossilized melanosomes that were found in the fossil. The fossil of Sinosauropteryx had an outline of feathering, and they were able to use microscopes to tell what shape the melanosomes or the pigment cells were, and that told us what color Sinosauropteryx was. So in the paragraph below, it talks about the microscope in question, which is a high-powered electron microscope. You can see melanosomes of different shapes when using this microscope. Zebra finches have round cell shapes in the orange part of their feathers and sausage-shaped melanosomes in the black parts. A team led by Mike Benton at the University of Bristol used this technique to look at the downy feathers of the head, neck, and the fossilized Sinosauropteryx. And they found that the little guy was a ginger or kind of like a rusty red with stripes down the tail. So this is what Sinosauropteryx actually looked like. This is the exact color that it was. So you can't say that this Sinosauropteryx is a ripoff of Gabriel Ugueto because it is a very unique pose. I mean, it's a dinosaur. They can only be in so many poses. And it doesn't look like any of his work. And the color itself and the pattern that is on the dinosaur is what the dinosaur actually had in real life. So if you were to, and I had already mentioned this in the comments, if you were to paint a tiger and say that you're copying another artist's tiger, well, just like if it was just because of the coloring, that makes absolutely no sense because tigers are orange and striped. So it makes no sense. So I think this person needs to do a little bit more research on Gabriel Ugueto and his poses, and also a little bit more research on Sinosauropteryx as a dinosaur. I'm not saying that you're wrong here, but as far as I can tell, I have found absolutely zero evidence that this person had copied or plagiarized Gabriel Ugueto and his art.